Hello there, welcome to today's lesson. In our previous lesson, we've just looked at formulas. And for instance, just to remind ourselves, we said that a formula is simply an equation that has two or more pronumerals that are showing a relationship between each of them, and one of them is a subject. So for instance, supposing you are having a figure like a rectangle. If this is my rectangle and we need to find maybe the area of that given rectangle, we know that this is the base and this is the height of the given rectangle. So that means the formula of finding the area of this given rectangle will simply be obtained by area is given by base times the height. If I need to find the perimeter of this given rectangle, then it means the perimeter of this rectangle will be obtained by 2 into the base plus the height. So we are simply just reminding ourselves what is a formula. And a formula is any equation that has two or more pronumerals that are showing the relationship between the pronumerals, and one of them is the subject of the formula. So in this case, our A is the subject of the formula in the case of calculating area, and P is the subject of the formula in the case of calculation of the perimeter of this given area. So we need to solve some word problems using that are forming up an equation. So we are having a word problem. From the word problem, we form an equation and then go ahead and solve the given equation. So just to start us off, let us have the following situation. So the problem we have is that Sylvia bought 10 pencils and 2 erasers for $20.40. Then Edward bought 5 pencils and 3 erasers for $2.60. And we are supposed to use this information we have to work out how much Carl will pay for 6 pencils and 5 erasers. So that is the problem we need to solve. So this is the problem. Which steps are we supposed to follow in order to solve the given problem? The first step, we are required to define the pronumeral to be used in a given situation. For instance, we are having 2 items that are being bought here. We have pencils and we have erasers. So we need to define which pronumeral are we going to use to represent the pencil, which pronumeral are we going to use to represent an eraser. So we can opt for, let's say, a pencil. We can say that let P to represent pencil, then let E to represent eraser. So that is the first step. We have defined which pronumerals are we going to use in this given situation. Then next, after you've identified the pronumerals to be used, the next step is we need to write an equation from the situation that we've been given. The situation, the first situation we have was that Sylvia bought 10 pencils and 2 erasers for $20.40. So we are having 10 pencils being bought and 2 erasers. So we need to form an equation from the given situation. So 10 pencils, 2 erasers. We are saying that P is representing the number of the price of 1 pencil. E is representing the price of 1 eraser. So we need to find out in total what did Sylvia pay for these 10 pencils and for the 2 erasers. So we are writing down the next step, which is forming an equation from our situation. So we have Sylvia, keeping in mind that Sylvia is buying 10 pencils and 2 erasers. So we write an equation for that. So we have 10 pencils. So 10 pencils, the price of 1 pencil is P. So that means 10 pencils will cost 10 times P, which is 10 P. Then plus, she buys 2 erasers. So meaning, and price of 1 eraser is E. So it means that the erasers were bought at 2 times E, which is 2E, for a price of $20.40. So this should amount to $20.40. The next equation that we form from our given question is that Edward buys 5 pencils and 3 erasers. So we have 5 pencils, 3 erasers. So we write the equation. 5 pencils, that means 5 pencils will be a cost of 5p. Then 3 erasers, so this means plus 3e, should give us a total of $2.60. So 10 pencils plus 2 erasers costs $20.40. 5 pencils plus 3 erasers costs a total of $2.60. So from there, having the 2 equations, this is the first equation. We discover that the first equation has 2 pronumerals, that is P and E. Our second equation also has 2 pronumerals, which is P and E. So we have 2 pronumerals, and we need to get the values of P and the value of E in this given equation. So we have 2 equations that we need to solve. These 2 equations are simply referred to as simultaneous equations. So we need to solve the 2 equations simultaneously. We have 2 ways in which we can solve the simultaneous equation. We have either substitution method or we have elimination method. Whatever method you opt for, it should give us the same value. So, having these 2 equations, I want us to solve using the elimination method. So with the elimination, we have to make one of the pronumerals, either in the first equation or in the second equation, to have the value of the coefficient to be equal. What do I mean by coefficient? Coefficient is simply the number, the digit that is appearing before the pronumeral. Like in this case, our coefficient for P is 10. Our coefficient for for P in the second equation is 5. So I need to make the coefficients of one of the pronumeral to be the same, if it is either E or if it is P. in this situation, looking at the question, it is easier for us to make the pronumeral of P to be the same. So that will simply be obtained by multiplying the first equation by 1. So we are having the whole of this first equation being multiplied by 1, and the whole of the second equation being multiplied by 2. So let us multiply throughout the equation. 10p times 1 will be 10p, plus 2e times 1, that is 2e. 20.40 times 1 will still remain 20.40. So this is the first equation. Our second equation is 5p times 2. 5p times 2 gives us 10p. Then 3e times 2 will give us 6e. And we are having 2.60 times 2, which will give us 5.20. So from there, we are eliminating. So if we are eliminating, then it means I need to eliminate the p, so that I'm left with only one pronumeral in my equation to make the simplification of that given question easier for us. So for us to eliminate this given equation, we simply subtract. So 10p minus 10p gives us 0. Then we have 2e minus 6e. It should give us negative 4e. Then next we have the right hand side of our equation. This is 20.40 minus 5.20. So this means that if I subtract whatever is after the decimal place first, this is 40 minus 20 gives us 20. Then we have 20 minus 5, which should give us 15. So we have negative 4e is equal to 15.20. So this means I have for me to get the value of e, we simply divide both sides by negative 4. So dividing 15.20 by negative 4, 4 into 4 is once, 4 into 15, that is 3 because of 12. So we have a remainder of 3. So 4 into 32 is 8, and 4 into 0 we have 0. So this means that we have negative 3.80 as our value for that given calculation. Then next, that is the value of e. We need to get the value of p. So finding the value of p, we can use either of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2, whichever you opt for. So using equation 1, we are saying that our value for e is this, negative 3.80, meaning 10p plus 2e is equal to 40, but our e is negative 3.80. So meaning I have 10p plus 2 into is equal to 2040. Simplifying our equation, then we have 0. 2 times 8, we have 16, so write 6, carry 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1, we have 7. 10p, this is negative 7.60, will be equal to 20.40. To get the value to remain with 10p on the left hand side, so we have 10p on the left hand side. To remain with the 10p, we simply take the 7.60 to the right hand side. Being a negative, when it crosses the equal sign, then it becomes a positive. So that means we will have 10p is equal to 20.40 plus 7.60. So 40 plus 60 gives us 100. So we write 0 and carry 1. So that this is 20 plus 7. We have 27 plus 1 gives us 28. So it means 10p is equal to 28. So divide by 10 on both sides. So divide by 10. Divide by 10, and we get that the value of one pencil is 2.80. So a pencil costs 2.80. So we need to find out how much will Carl pay for 6 pencils and 5 erasers. So forming that equation, we have the value of P, we have the value of E. We need to find out 6 pencils and 5 erasers, what they will cost. So 6 pencils plus 5 erasers. How much does it cost? So this means that I have 6 into plus 5 into so when we simplify, we have 0. 6 times 8 is 48, so write 8, carry 4. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 4, 16. Then minus 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8, we have 40, so write 0, carry 4. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 4, we have 19. So being the fact that we are buying, so that means that we have 16.80 plus 19.00. So adding, this is 16. It's 15. So we get that 6 pencils and 5 erasers will cost a total of $35.80. Nimegundua tu hiyo swali nimeiandika vibaya. Kwa hivyo nairudia tu. Sawa? So Sylvia bought 10 pencils and 2 erasers for $20.40. Edward bought 5 pencils and 3 erasers for $12.60. And we need to find out how much Carl will pay for 6 pencils and 5 erasers. So in solving an equation that is a word problem, we need to first identify the pronumerals that are going to be used in this given equation. For instance, we are having 2 items that are being bought in this situation. We have pencils and we have erasers that are being bought. So we need to identify the pronumerals that are being used, and for instance we can choose P to represent the cost of pencils and E to represent the cost of erasers. So we are choosing the pronumeral, which is our first step. P So that is the first step in solving an equation, to identify the pronumeral that is going to be used. So we've identified that P is representing the cost of 1 pencil and E is representing the cost of an eraser. So after identifying the pronumerals that you're going to use in the equation, the second step is writing down the equation from the problem that you've been given. So we are told that Sylvia bought 10 pencils and 2 erasers for $20.40. So we need to write an equation for this first situation, that Sylvia is buying 10 pencils and 2 erasers. So the equation we have Sylvia bought 10 pencils. The cost of 1 pencil is P. The cost of 1 eraser is E. So 10 pencils, meaning it will cost us 10P. Then plus 2 erasers will cost us 2E for a total of $20.40. Then next we are talking about Edward, and Edward bought 5 pencils and 3 erasers. So 5 pencil, that means we have 5P, plus 3 erasers, that is 3E, for a total of $12.60. So we've formed the equation from the problem. We've formed the equation from the problem that we've been given. What type of equation am I having on the board? We have the first equation whereby it has two pronumerals, which is P and E. We have the second equation whereby I have also the same two pronumerals, which is P and E. So there we are having similar pronumerals in this given equation. So this type of an equation is what is called a simultaneous equation. So I need to solve the simultaneous equation. We have two options, either elimination or substitution method. So we are going to use the elimination method in solving this equation. So in eliminating, it means that I'm going to get rid of one of the pronumerals so that I'm left with one pronumeral to work with. That is why we are talking about elimination. So we are eliminating one of the pronumeral. In this, for us to be in a position to eliminate, then it means the coefficient of the given pronumerals in the first equation and the second equation should be the same for us to eliminate. For instance, we have 10p in the first equation, we have 5p in the second equation. How do I make the two equations to be similar? I mean the two coefficients for the pronumeral p to be the same. The one possible way is simply by multiplying the second equation by 2, and the first equation is being multiplied by 1. So when I multiply by 1, then we have 10p plus 2e will be equal to 2040. Then next, the second equation, I'm multiplying by 2, so that means I'll have 2 times 5p. That gives us 10p. 2 times 3e will give us 6. So we have 6e will be equal to 2 times 12.60. So we have 12.60 times 2, so we'll have 25.20, so 25.20. Then we discover that 10p and 10p are the same. To eliminate them, we simply subtract. So we are subtracting our equation where 10p minus 10p will be 0. Then we have 2e minus 6e, which gives us negative 4e. Then next we have 20.40 minus 25.20. So So 20.40 minus 25.20, we discover that 25 is a figure that is more than that one of 20.40. So it means that we are having a negative. Then what is the difference between 20.40 and 25.20? So we have in the subtraction done at this far end. So I have 20 minus 40, which is not possible. So it means I have to borrow 1 from 25. The 1 is made to be 100. So 100 plus 20, we have 120. So 120 minus 40 will give us 80. Then 24 minus 20, we have 4. So it means this is a negative 4.80. Then to get the value of E, we divide both sides by negative 4. So divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. So that E will be given by 4 into 4 once. 4 into 4.80 is 1.20. So that means the price of one eraser is 1.20. We need to get the price of a pencil. E was representing the cost of an eraser. So cost of an eraser is 1.20. We are getting the price of a pencil. How do we get the price of one pencil? We can either substitute in the first equation or the second equation. Using the first equation, we had 10p plus 2e is equal to 20.40, but our value for E is 1.20. So we are replacing E with 1.20 so that we have 10p plus 2 into so this is 10p plus 2 into 1.20 is equal to 20.40. So we simplify this, and 2 times 1.20 is simply 2.40 plus 10p is equal to 20.40. So we need to remain with 10p on this side, so it means we subtract both sides by 2.40. So when we subtract, we are left with 10p is equal to 20.40 minus 2.40. 20.40 minus 2.40 gives us 18. So this means 10p is 18. For us to get the value of p, then it means we divide both sides by 10. So divide by 10, divide by 10, and that means our value for p is $1.80. So we now have the cost of one pencil and the cost of one eraser. We know that a pencil will cost 1.80, an eraser will cost 1.20. So keeping that in mind, then the last part of the question was requiring us to find how much Carl will pay. We need to find out how much Carl is going to pay for 6 pencils and 5 erasers. We need to find out how much is this person going to pay for this given commodity. So it means the price of one pencil is 1.80, the price of one eraser is 1.20. So this means 6 multiplied by 1.80 plus 5 multiplied by 1.20. Then when we multiply, we have so 6 times 1.80 gives us 10.80. 5 times 1.20 gives us 6. When we add, we get a total of 16.80. And remember our units, we have dollars. So 6 pencils and 5 erasers will cost Carl a total of $16.80. The second question, or another problem we have is so we have when Kate adds her current age to that of the next year's age, the result is 19. We need to find out how old Kate is. So the first thing, we talked about identifying the pronumeral to be used. So we need to define what pronumeral are we going to use in our equation. We are having the age of Kate. So that means we can choose a pronumeral. We can say let K represent so we have her age now. We can say that let K to represent the current age. Then we need to get next year's age. That means next year Kate will be 1 year older. So that means it will be K plus 1. So this is for the next year. Then the problem we have is that we are being told that Kate is adding her current age and her next year's age. So we are having the current age and next year's age being added. So we add so that we have the current age plus the next year's age, that is K plus 1, so that the result after adding current age and next year's age, the result is 19. So this is equal to 19. Then from here, we can simplify our given equation by simply adding the like terms. What are like in this situation? K and K are like terms. Then the one can be taken to the other side where we have 19, because all these are just numbers. So K plus K gives us 2K. Then 2K plus 1 is equal to 19. I need to get the 1 to the other side of the equation. That means that it is a plus 1. When it crosses to the other side of the equation, then it becomes a minus 1. So this means that 2K is equal to 19 minus 1. And what is 19 minus 1? 19 minus 1 is 18. So we have 2K is equal to 18. That means the value of K will be 9. We get the value of K by dividing 2 on both sides. So K is equal to 9. Coming back to where we defined our pronumeral, what does K represent? K is representing Kate's current age. And the question is asking how old is Kate. So we need to find the age of Kate currently. That means Kate is 9 years old currently. So we have Conan has 15 boxes which weigh a total of 300 kilograms. So the question is, how much does each box weigh? We need to find out the weight of each box. So this means we need to define a pronumeral to be used in our equation. So for instance, we can choose W. So W is representing the weight of one box. So how many boxes are in this given situation? We have a total of 15 boxes. So how do we get the total weight of the 15 boxes? If one weight is W, if one box is W, what about the 15 boxes? Then it means to get the total weight of the 15 boxes, we are adding the W 15 times. That just means W is being repeated. It is repeating itself 6 times, so 15 times. So that means we have 15 times W. So the weight of 15 boxes is simply 15 times W, and 15 times W is 15 W. Then we are being told in our question that the total weight of these 15 boxes is 300 kilograms. So what does it mean? We've calculated using the pronumeral W, and we now know that the total weight of the 15 boxes is 15W. But we've been given the actual weight of the 15W. So this means that 15W is equivalent to 300. So we have 15W being equal to 300 kilograms. We need to get the value of W in our equation. So that means divide by 15, divide by 15, which implies when we divide by 15, 300 divided by 15 gives us 20. So that means W is equal to 20 kilograms. That is the weight of one box. And the question was asking how much does each box weigh? So that means that each box weighs 20 kilograms. Each box weighs 20 kilograms. Then the next part of this question, after getting the weight of one box, this is what the next part of the question requires us to find. So we've found the weight of one box, and one box weighs 20 kilograms. So we need to find out how much will 6 boxes of similar kind weigh. If one box is 20 kilograms, what about 6 boxes? So to get the weight of the 6 boxes, we are having 6 times 20, and 6 times 20 simply gives us 120 kilograms. So this is a situation whereby I've let my W to represent the weight of one box. Supposing we've been given a situation whereby the W is representing a different thing. For instance, maybe the W is now representing the 15 boxes and not one box. Here it is W is representing the weight of one box. I want us to look at a situation whereby our W is representing 15 boxes. So I'm trying to change the definition of my pronumeral W, and I'm saying that W is representing the weight of 15 boxes. In our equation, or in our question, whatever we had is that the weight of 15 boxes was 300 kilograms. W is representing the weight of the 15 boxes. So if the 15 boxes, W is equal to the weight of the 15 boxes, that means that W is equal to the 300 kilograms. W is equal to the 300 kilograms. So if W is equal to the 300 kilograms, and you're saying that W is representing the 15 the total weight of the 15 boxes. So I need to get the weight of one box. If this is the total weight of the 15 boxes, and I need to obtain what is the weight of one of the boxes. 15 boxes, this is W is equal to 15 boxes. So our W is representing the weight of 15 boxes. I need to get one of the boxes. If W is 300 and the W is 15 boxes, so if these 15 boxes are weighing 300, W is 15 boxes, and I need to get the weight of one box. So that simply means that 15 boxes will give us a total of 300 kilograms. 300 kilograms. But I need to get the weight of one box. So what about one box? How will I get this one box? So we simply cross multiply. That means I have 1 times 300 divided by 15. And 1 times 300 divided by 15 gives us 20 kilograms. So whatever the situation that is, you need to identify how have you defined your pronumeral. After you've understood the definition of your pronumeral, then it will be easier in solving the given equation. Lastly, so we have a rectangle. We've been given the sides. The base or the breadth of the rectangle, we have 2x plus 3, and the other side we have 10. Then on the other side we have 3y and 6. A property of a rectangle we should know is that the opposite sides are equal. So this means this side and this side is equal, and the other side are also equal. So we need to find the value of y and x in this given rectangle. So this simply means that 3y is equal to 6. If 3y is equal to 6, we need to get the value of y. That means we simply divide both sides by 3. So divide here by 3, divide by 3. So y will be equal to 2. Then next we have 2x plus 3 is equal to 10. That means taking 3 to the other side, it will be minus. So this means 2x will be equal to 10 minus 3, which is 7. Then to get the value of x, divide by 2, divide by 2, so that x will be 3.5. So we've solved the values of x and y in the given problem that we had. So in conclusion, Whatever we are simply saying is this. In case you have a problem that you need to solve, first identify the pronumeral to be used in that given equation. Then, after identifying the pronumeral that you are going to use, you then write an equation involving that pronumeral. Then you can go ahead and solve using either of the methods that we've learned. We learned about inspection method. We learned about systematic way of solving equations. So whichever method you prefer to solve the given equation that you formed, can you go ahead and use whatever method that you prefer. Alternatively, if the question has directed you on the method that you're going to use, then it simply means you'll have to follow the instructions in the question and use the method that you've been given. In case of diagrams that have been drawn and you need to form equations from that given diagram, first identify which type of a diagram is it. Is it a square? Is it a rectangle? Is it a triangle? Then from that, find the properties that can help you solve the given pronumerals on the diagram correctly. If it is a triangle and they're talking about angles, we all know that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if there are pronumerals that you've been given representing angles of a triangle, then it means you use the property of angles of a triangle will add up to 108. If it is a case like a rectangle that we had, then we all know that the opposite sides are equal. If it is a square, all sides are equal. So this brings us to the end of equations, and I hope you are now in a position to solve the given equations correctly. Thank you.